Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, Kate J, and this is the podcast where we review movies and TV shows and all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby! Welcome back, everybody. Now, as I continue on the new Disney Plus series by Marvel Studios, Secret Invasion, this is going to be episode 5, spoiler review. So, again, if you have not been watching this series and you just came across this, please pause this. But before you go, hit that thumbs up to help this channel grow. I would truly appreciate that. Go watch the Secret Invasion show that's on Disney Plus. Then come back and check out all these spoilers review as I review episode by episode. And I only want to mention that because now, as I'm recording, next week will be episode 6, and that'll be the season finale of season 1. So that's what I'm telling y'all. So again, this is a spoiler review for episode 5. You've been warned. Let's get into it. Episode 5 continues on after the ambush on the President of the United States. As the President is being taken to the surgery room in the hospital, Fury whispers to him not to trust Rhodey, who we found out is a Skrull named Rava. And she tells Fury that she has leaked out the fake video of him shooting Maria Hill, which we know is not actually Nick Fury, it was Gravik. And now the whole world sees this. And also he told Fury that this is going to be the last time he gets this close to the president. And made it seem like Fury is all out of tricks and he will be defeated. Now, the reason why they did this, because Gravik wanted Rava to tell the president that the Skrulls and the Russians are working together, and we get the scene where Rhodey the Skrull, who we know now as Rava, she is showing the hideout of the Skrulls and saying this is on Russian soil, and convinced him to start World War III, basically. Now, as that has happened, even Rava and the other Skrulls disagree with him, and we see 2 Skrull members get killed. And we see other Skrulls turn on him. Now, and we see an epic battle, and we can see that some of these Skrulls have not become Super Skrulls. So, because Gravik had a plastic bag over his head now, and when you see that in movies, usually that person dies pretty quick. But this new Super Skrull powers that Gravik has keeps him more invincible. Can handle situations like that, and is much stronger as he lays the smack down on him. Now, I thought it was odd that Gravik didn't really do much after that, but only half of them, so it's kind of like split. Like the Skrulls in this like secret hideout base, it's kind of split with that, and it may look like that Gravik's plan looks like it's fumbling because as they continue on in the next scene, Gravik has Nick Fury's wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife maybe, Vyra, a hit on. But luckily that Fury and Gaia are working together in a sense, and she went to see Vyra to help bury her father, Talos. And Guy and Vera share this one moment between each other where it's like a generation of young and old, where Rava is, even though she knows she's made a mistake and she understands that she turned on Gravik, and even though they were plotting for this for the longest time, but she would say nice things about Nick Fury and things why she appreciates the house where it's like all windows, but it has a huge bunch of guns and places to hide and bulletproof vests, as we see her house get ambushed by other Skrulls. But there was a moment that I thought was really cool, and I wanted to bring this up. That Vira is representing like the old school scrolls, like in a way, because Gaia's kind of like, well, do you show Nick Fury your true skin? And it was kind of disrespectful, like young people disrespecting the older people, and that's what we're getting out of that. And this just proves the point that the scrolls obviously have their own opinion, but we see that Gaia has a different path, and that it's definitely becoming more obvious what it could be, but which we'll talk about that later. Now, after that scene, we get Nick Fury and Sona working together because now she's on the move of just getting rid of scrolls, and she's letting them know, like, hey, there's no protection for you guys. Like, if I want to shoot you, I can, type thing. And then we learn that between Fury and Sonya are having a little conversation. We learn that Gravik and the other scrolls are looking for the Avengers DNA, and this would make them a lot stronger. And the one thing he was more worried about is Captain Marvel, aka Cara Daniels, that they may have her blood because she's Creed. She has Creed blood. And that's the one thing that can make these scrolls much powerful. But that's how they left it up. And obviously we got the classic Nick Fury outfit back on. Hat off, eye patch on, basically. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is just them saying episode 6, season finale, it's going to feel like the Avengers without the actual Avengers. But let's talk about some of the topics that have happened. Well, the topics I want to bring up. So let's talk about Sonya. So she found Dr. Dalton, and which is a female, right? Which that's Dalton. And I thought that was pretty interesting, but I wish they would finally, maybe, I don't know if they're going to ever show it, maybe, who knows, hopefully in episode 6. But they never show the actual people, like we know that there's scrolls that infiltrate deep in the White House, and they steal other people's identity, of course. But I was wondering, like, why they haven't showed the actual Dr. Dalton or any of the scrolls, like true, human shell, basically. But I thought this would be the one where you want to show a scene where maybe that actual person's like locked up, obviously, but maybe I think maybe there's a bigger picture to this, and they're saving that for later. Now, I feel like she, as a character, wants to extinct the scrolls, and I have a theory. I'm gonna just drop the theory. So here's the theory. I think Sonya is Creed. I think she's Creed. Like, I think she is working with the Creed, or she has Creed blood in her, because we really don't know her abilities. She may look like a simple human woman, right? But she could be a Creed. Like, what if? Here's my thing. Here it goes. My theory. But what if they found a way to give Creed blood more willingly, and maybe this is just their way to get back to Captain Marvel, because we know the Creed is still out there and it still exists. Their main leader was obviously killed in the Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 1, obviously, or defeated by Star-Lord. And we know that, Thanos wasn't happy about that particularly. But I feel like Sonya is part of the Creed, and I think there's a bigger plan that she has that she's not telling Fury. I think she's been playing nice with him, trying to gain his trust, knowing that Fury's more vulnerable, knowing that since Fury chose to kind of leave Earth, basically, and abandon everybody since the blip, he's been showing weakness, and I think she took advantage of that because that was her one chance to get something really big secret. And the fact that the Avengers DNA is out there and Fury has that. Imagine if the Creed got that. They would become a huge threat for Earth, for all over the galaxy. And I think that's one way they could go, because we do need I know they're going to do a movie for the Young Avengers, or maybe a Disney Plus series for the Young Avengers. And we do need, a big villain and a big reasons to have the Avengers team up. And they've been teasing the Young Avengers for a while, since the first Disney Plus Marvel series, which is WandaVision. They've been teasing it then and continuing on. So that could be a possibility. The Young Avengers taking on the Creed. And maybe the Gaia, it could be, I think she could be a Young Avengers. And I also think she could be in the Thunderbolts. And I think she'll be in the Thunderbolts first. And I also think Sonja could be in part of Thunderbolts too, if she's not working for the Creed. But that is the reason why I said that, because I wanted to think, why would she be part of the Thunderbolts? And I thought, because I feel like this character wants the Skrulls to be extinct. Now, that doesn't mean has to be Creed. Maybe this is her way of rebranding the Shield, or bringing back Hydra. She could be part of Hydra for all we know. And she's just using this as an example. She could be working with Val, and that's one reason she could be part of the Thunderbolts. Because, again, after the blimp, Fury is pretty much an open target because he's shown a lot of weakness. But maybe, just maybe, this is just another way of Hydra coming back. You never know. You just don't know. Let's talk about Gravik. He kills two of the Skrulls who question him now, because he didn't get Nick Fury. He didn't kill Nick Fury. He was supposed to assassinate him. And he didn't achieve killing the president. But Gravik also blamed them. So we get that, and then the Skrulls turn on Gravik. Now, this seems like to me that maybe his big plans are crashing down. But I'm not sure. I feel like Marvel will kill off this character either this next episode. But there's also that possibility, and I'm usually wrong on this, but you never know at Marvel. They may keep this character a little bit more to extend out in the MCU. I think the Skrulls I think they're going to become a bigger threat. But maybe Gravik won't be the main leader of it, so he could get killed off. But I also think that they could have another person become another Skrull, basically be the actual leader of the Super Skrull era. And I think there's so much potential and stories that I think Marvel Studios is going to do with that. So I definitely see that happening. But obviously, this character could get killed off. It's not. I wouldn't be shocked if this was it for that. For Gravik in the MCU, I think his time would be up in episode 6, if not. But it's more of a stronger chance of that. But I like to be optimistic, and I think that they're gonna do more with this character, especially in the Marvels. That's what I'm thinking, because with the new entertainment magazine, or maybe just its website or whatever, they released new photos of the set of the whole cast members. But in one, there was a picture of Captain Marvel, and there was Skrulls behind there. So I think, to me, there's a lot more going on than what the season. Maybe Gravik's not the big bad leader of the Super Scrolls, but from this view, I think he is. So I think he may live, just like I obviously believe now Nick Fury's going to live through this. So that's what I think. Now let's talk about Nick Fury. Obviously, he has his classic outfit back on, which is awesome. This is like a tribute to the first Avengers. This is what he kind of wore in the beginning when he was recruiting like Iron Man and stuff. So I think that's pretty badass. And it looks like he's becoming the Nick Fury that we all know and love throughout the MCU. Maybe he just needed this to push him back, but he's very more motivated and determined to defeat the Skrulls. And I find it interesting, like, how I just mentioned the Avengers DNA, and he blames himself for that. He blames himself for breaking the promises, making these type of choices of having Skrulls just, go where the battle was at, where Thanos, and just pick up DNA. I don't know if that's blood example or what. I'm not sure. But he blames himself for that because maybe that's a bad choice. Like, yeah, obviously it is, because why would you want any evil Skrulls known to have the same ability as the Hulk or Captain Marvel or, I don't know, Steve Rogers, Captain America? Like, you don't know. Like, maybe I don't know, Wanda. I don't know if they can. I don't think Skrulls can copy off of magic like that. Or Doctor Strange. I'm not sure, honestly. But Spider-Man, maybe there's a Skrull, because that's another thing. The Skrulls are connected to Spider-Woman, and there is a Skrull who, did, mimic Spider-Woman. Maybe this is it. Who knows? Like, I don't know. There's ways to get through this. But again, back to Nick Fury, is he blames himself for this, and he wants to make this right. So that's one of his motivations. And I think there's more to it, because there seems like Nick Fury has done so much secretly throughout the whole MCU phase. It's finally like catching up to him. And do I realistically think they'll do a season 2? Probably not, but I think at some point, like, there's going to be more stuff that we don't know about Nick Fury and what he was doing throughout each phase in the MCU that we're going to discover in the next Marvel films, like Captain America 4 and the Marvels and whatever else that could be coming out. Maybe in a Blade, I don't know. That'd be cool. I think that'd be cool. But other than that, this episode itself was really good. I think, to me, this is becoming a pattern without the Disney Plus series with the Marvel Studios. Is you have the beginning of the episode is really good, and then you have your slow episodes where it's kind of disappointing. They didn't give you everything you were hoping, and it came like a side thing. And then they have that episode where they just shock you, and they do something you didn't think they were going to do, and they did it. And then you get to like 2 episodes down, and that's the episode before the season finale. They give you an episode where, it's guns blazing, big reveals, and more shocking moments. But I think overall this episode was obviously good, and I'm at 1 out of 10. I'm giving this a 10 because I like this episode because, one, a lot of this stuff that with Nick Fury, they're going back to phase 1 in a way, referring the first Avengers movie. They're referring to things that happened in phase 2 and 3. Like, these are things that has happened and Fury has learned. Look how they went to a cemetery in Finland, and he knows that Skrulls are not, I think he said Skrulls are not a fan of the cold, but he did things that he learned from Thor and Loki the way he had the tomb and like or the tomb or the cemetery house where he had all his stuff hidden, but he would like have a secret code, like he would blow onto something and something would light up, and it kind of reminded me of like Loki and Thor, and I thought that was pretty cool. They're just tributing to through some of the older, earlier phases, at least through 1 through 3, and they're tributing it, have just showing that Fury remembers this. He picked up a couple things and he learned some stuff. So that's what I really like about this the most, seeing this all kind of come together. Like, and I also like the idea, like this is Samuel Jackson's best when he performs. The dialogue where he's just saying like, we can't always depend on our heroes to save our asses, and this is his one power is doing this, that they can protect Earth, and I think that's really cool about that. Like, I think I think there's more to it, and I think that was just very cool to hear him say that, Nick Fury, and that made me really like appreciate Marvel even more for that. So I definitely enjoying this series. I can't wait for the season finale, episode six. Sorry, but I'm really excited. So that's my review. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you and peace out.